It was just super steep, and I just remember it being like incredibly hot. I just was like, I hated it. I hated
I,
that.
dude, I did too. Dude, literally in one of my videos, that last climb up to where the east meets the west, I'm literally
Oh,
like, I'm swearing, and I'm like, every climb on the CT East is just up and then down and then up and then down, and I'm like, what are we in the freaking East Coast over here or what,
yeah.
dude?
I questioned my ability as a hiker, and that I was just like, I suck at hiking. I don't know how to do it.
Today we're getting into a podcast on the Colorado Trail. This was actually an interview with my good buddy Scooter, who also did the Colorado Trail. This is actually a podcast episode from his podcast, but he interviews me, if that's not confusing enough. If you're listening and you want to know a little bit more about the Colorado Trail, this is a podcast with two people that have done it before. So super valuable. There was also a podcast episode about Scott's time on the Colorado Trail that I interviewed him for on his podcast, so I'll link that in the show notes. But if you have any other questions about the Colorado Trail that we don't cover, let us know. Here we go.
There's the voice. All right, so I have Chad Lubinsky with us, and actually, Chad's been on the podcast a few times. But before, you didn't have a trail name. Do you have a trail name now?
Scratch.
Scratch. I like it. What's the story with Scratch?
Well, and we'll probably get into it on the CT, but basically I got like the worst rash for 2.5 weeks on the CT, and I couldn't get off trail to get it like fixed or anything. Basically I was going through the first 100 miles. I picked it up somewhere there, and I thought it was like, mosquito bites or something like that, right? But dude, it just kept spreading further and further down my leg, right? And before I know it, I'm scratching like all night long. You know what I mean? Like one of those things.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to like get hydrocortisone from other hikers on the trail that I'm passing. So I'm getting like a little hydrocortisone here, a little hydrocortisone there, So I had like this like real tiny ration. And finally, I actually linked up with someone from TikTok. I sent her a message, and she lived near Buena Vista, and hitched me in at the Avalanche Trailhead, got me into BV. And I saw the doctor there. Couldn't find my insurance card for the longest time.
No.
And it was just this like whole thing, but got it taken care of, dude. And after that, it was like 2 days, and it was like gone. It was great.
What was it like? What's that called? I don't know. Poison ivy?
Dude, it was like, yeah, some kind of oil like that uretiol or something like that oil. Is what I think it was. I think it was poison sumac. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how common it is up there, but that's kind of what I thought it was. So, because what I think happened is I cowboy camped my first night up at Bear Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, I got in so late I couldn't see, so I just threw everything up, and I think that's where I got it. I think I was rolling around in freaking
Well, there's a lot of brush on that one side of the river. It's kind of crazy. And then you get over the other side and just a desert, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and it was weird, like, because I think I had it in my sleeping bag too, which they say is very common on the AT, with people getting stuff in their sleeping bag and then they can't wash their sleeping bag. It's like, how much of a pain in the ass that is in real life.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. I wouldn't know what to do. I don't know. I'd get a new sleeping bag. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know, because you couldn't take the time to. Well, I guess you could go to the hospital. I hate washing my sleeping bag. It takes forever for it to dry out properly.
Yeah,
terrible.
Dude. Can you imagine that on trail? You're just like, oh my! You'd have to take like 4 zeros in a row.
I've seen people do it, and they hang up their. They must have synthetic. I mean, they've got to have synthetic to be washing their stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, mine's a down, so no go.
Good luck doing that. But so you got on the CT. When did you start?
I started June 30. I tried to create an itinerary like you and your buddy did, which was badass, by the way. Like, good job on that, because it was.
Thanks.
You guys crushed it.
We did it a little bit quicker. Yeah.
How many days was it again?
Did 19 days. Well, we had already done the AT too. So I mean, you did the JMT, but I think like once you do something longer, you get your trail legs a little bit more. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
A little faster. Yeah, so I was 22.25 days because I
That's
don't count.
fast.
Yeah, like because it was a 0.25 day because I got dropped off at like 5 p.m. at the
Yeah.
trailhead when I flew in. So
That's when a lot of people stop
right. Oh, right. Yeah,
hiking for
no.
the day. Yeah.
Dude, you're telling me, man, this is a good tip to anybody that wants to hike the CT. The first 100 miles of the CT, it is so hard to find a camp spot before, like, and if you're after 5, 6 o'clock, good freaking luck, dude. Because I mean, it's crazy out there.
So yeah, there had to be. So the snow year, it wasn't terrible because if you could leave it June 30th, did you experience any snow?
None whatsoever. I think I walked through snow out of Breckenridge at
Okay.
that one pass up there, but like
Yeah.
for like 3 steps, maybe.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was fine. There was actually, a matter of fact, it was actually fires were starting up in the middle of my um in my hike. Smoke from Cali and Oregon and all that kind of stuff. And I thought I was starting it soon enough to where that wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? That's why I
Yeah.
did it like that. So
Yeah. The fires this last season were absolutely terrible. I mean, there was just a boulder fire again, like a few weeks ago.
that's
Um,
wild.
yeah. Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. But other than smoke, like there was like no fire like immediately near you.
Nothing immediate. I think there was one a little bit further north, but it didn't affect me. So it was
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
But I will say I did get hitched out to Salida at one point because I had to get different shoes.
yeah.
And I was coming back, and dude, it was like you couldn't see like a quarter mile from the smoke. And
Dang.
dude, it was so bad. Like I was like double masked, like your COVID mask. I was like
Yeah.
literally double masked. And like you have to get up to where the CT meets, or the east meets the west, right in there. And like, dude, it was just socked in. I'm like, dude, I don't want to hike in this for like
Yeah,
another
it's terrible
2.
for your lungs too.
That's the thing. It's like it's not like a grind anymore. It's like long-term health.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you did 22 days that's very, very fast.
it was decent. I didn't want to get fired from work.
Yeah. So you had to finish at a certain point.
Yeah, kind of, because it was an arm and a leg to try to get this much time off, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd rationalized that because it was COVID and all that, and we were working remote, that this would be my only time to do it. So I took the opportunity, and they were cool with it. Boss is pretty cool. They're pretty outdoorsy. So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What did you do to finish that quick? Like, did you have like per day you had a plan, or what were you doing?
Yeah, I always kind of like, and I know for a lot of thru hikers, they hate planning.
Yeah.
But I'm like kind of a planner. I like having a rough like a backstop with things. So like I created an itinerary, and I'm like, okay, here's where I need to be day, right?
Yeah.
Or like this is how many miles or whatever, day, whatever, this is where I should roughly be or whatever. And so that's what I created, and that's what I had with me. And so I was pretty much on point with all that, except for when I had to keep getting hitched into BV, and then when I had to get hitched into Salida, that knocked me back.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I think I would have finished before, like quite earlier than my itinerary. But yeah, for me, it's like I kind of just like having that roadmap. Like where should I be at, and resupply stuff too, especially because I do not want to run out of food.
So did you just, because actually that's really helpful, because I'm the opposite, where I'm not a big planner, and so I think it helps for people to hear people who are more like, I guess you'd say type A or whatever, people who are more of a planner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's helpful. What did you use? You just utilize Far Out, which is formerly known as Gut Hook.
Yeah, Far Out, right? What do you think about that name change?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I understand they're trying to be more inclusive to like other communities that don't necessarily use trail names. I don't know if they necessarily needed to, but I guess Far Out, I'm not sure, man. I'm kind of indifferent, but I do miss Gut Hook just because I like the same stuff. I don't know. I don't want change. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Gut Hook's a way better name.
Yeah. Don't you do marketing though?
I did. I had one post that okay, so here's one thing. Yeah, so I had like one post where they had paid me to do a sponsored post or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. Now, and I know this is on a podcast, so but I think this is like good to hear for like people that like creators that are up and coming. Is there's like certain companies that you'll work with and it's very transactional, meaning you do a post for them and then you never hear back from them again.
Oh, interesting.
It's like this big build up, whatever. Okay, post on this, boom. And then you just never hear back from them. And at first when I was starting getting into the space, I was like, oh, okay. Like I guess I didn't really realize that. But then I started seeing a pattern in it. And that was a case like that. And it kind of, I was like, ugh. Like, I don't really, it was kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But yeah, that can't feel very, very good to have that happen. Especially if something that's, I don't know, they started out being trail community-esque.
Yeah, it's a weird, and so like I don't, and I get it from them because they want to get as many in front of as many eyes as they can. So they want to try to get as many creators as they can because they all have their own separate audiences, But like I did a thing for Arctic, and it was, I did whatever, I posted, blah, blah, blah. And then like, a couple of weeks later, they just sent me like a little care package or whatever, which was, nice. I thought was like pretty cool like that. So any brands out there that might be listening like that, that goes a long way with how we like your reputation, I guess, at least in the influencer or like creator world or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
No, I guess, yeah. And I wonder if Far Out's just like in the process of growing so much that they're just like so focused on growth because they just released like a new kayak thing. And I don't know, maybe they're just like, it's gotten out of their hands a little bit too much. Cause I don't know. That's what I like to hope because I still really like Far Out guides. They kind of have the monopoly on the world.
it's I mean, hands down best app for sure. Like, I'll never not use that for sure. I mean, it's a great app. Yeah. I mean, that's really how you can plan those itineraries so far out. Like, I just can't imagine. Can you imagine trying to figure out like water? And
oh my God.
That would be the hardest part, water and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's when I'd be like carrying like 4 liters a lot of times. Like it'd be like, and that'd be so heavy, I wouldn't want to do it.
And just kills your mileage. And
It's been the water especially is good. So did you use any other like guidebook or use the Facebook group?
The Facebook group was nice. The Facebook group, I have my own opinion on Facebook groups again, but I don't know if you want me to get into that.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. Actually, that's one of the questions I had because you had that silly encounter. And for people who haven't heard what happened, or maybe you had multiple too.
Yeah, I just sound like a curmudgeon, but so like freaking no, I just right before the CT I left and I had typed in a post and I was just like, hey, just wondering, how frequent or how common is it to run into trail magic out here? Is it frequent? Because from the JMT, there was zero trail magic, like nothing, never. I mean, you don't see anybody out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just didn't know, like, what's the trail magic culture out there? That's literally what I was saying. I was like, hey, start date June 30, can't wait, whatever. And then, you get those baby boomers that are on there that have hiked the trail back in 1984 and are like, giving you this whole rundown of like why you shouldn't expect trail magic and it's a stupid question and blah 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 blah, and it's like this big philosophical like comment back to me, and I'm just like, bro, I just want to know if like I have to carry as much food as I think that I need to or not, like, or and so and that's just kind of been a common theme in Facebook groups sometimes. I just kind of see that. And I made that post or like a TikTok on it for my Instagram. And a lot of women comment on it. And they're like, dude, we get this all the time from like those guys that are like 50 years old, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. What are they doing? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's why I make jokes about Randy, but like, I just feel like it's a Randy just like getting on Facebook and just like, I don't understand. Where does he get off? Like, what's he doing?
Dude, same. I don't know. I mean, it's like, yeah, dude, I get you hiked the trail before, like sick. You know what I mean? Well, and then it's kind of like weird that like you're even like still in the group to like peruse around. Like, I don't know, like I hiked the CT and now I'm not really like in the group that much. Like I'll occasionally look at it, but it's not like I'm sitting there like,
no, yeah. It's not like reliving the high school glory days. Like that's kind of what it's like.
dude, that's what it is right there. You nailed it. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's just, man, I don't know. Just move on. Who cares?
Yeah,
And,
it's hilarious.
but it makes sense. Like your question is like, that's how people think, regardless of who you are. Like you're just like playing the logistics. And so if you can carry less food, then why not ask? Like people do the same thing with the whites and the AT. And like, I don't know. It's just like, you want to know the trail magic situation. So you can like water carries too. It's just like a very common question.
Yeah, because I mean, if like, not that you should ever rely on trail magic, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean, that's definitely true. But like, it is good to know that you might have like a buffer between some sort of sections or whatever, right? And that you might have like maybe a surplus of food. And that's, I don't know, it's just it's just good to know. I don't know, it's just part of the strategy. Like you're saying, like, how am I going to plan this out? So,
or maybe I want something to look forward to. Maybe I'm fucking just miserable right now and I want to look forward to something. Come on, help me out.
Dude, freaking exactly. You know what? You know, the trail magic I never ran into was actually, no, never mind. Now that I say that, I did, but was the cow. I call it the cow pie section or the cow patty section.
Oh my God, yeah.
Bro, that section was rough. I wasn't ready for that one, but the old Sawyer squeeze, you talk about a good product. That thing, I did not bring 2 filters or anything, or, you know, maybe like some, if I would have known more about that section, I would have brought like some tabs or something just for that section. But whew, I got lucky there.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty long too. Like,
it is.
For those that don't know, it's like literally you're going through like these cow ranges, like these fields with just cows and cows. I was honestly, I was a little afraid of them. I was afraid of the cows. Like, I don't know what to do in that situation. It's hard to look big for a cow. Like, and then you feel silly. Like, I don't know.
That's so true, dude. Yeah. That section was really interesting, man. Yeah, it sounds like most people do get like some at least clean water from trail magic around there quite frequently. So like, that's something good to know, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was fortunate because it was a big snow year, so there's a lot of snow melt still. But like, I can imagine like that would be very dry section without that.
You know, that actually sparks my memory to that story you told me about running out of water. Where you were like, Jesus.
Oh yeah, on that one section, the what is it? That is it section 3 or something? Whatever. The one right after the bridge. Almost ran out of water going back to the bridge. The opposite way, going north to Nobo.
From the fire station?
Yeah, I was like a mile or 2 past the fire station. But yeah, from the fire station, because I filled up there, to from the fire station further, I died.
It must have been hot out because you would have been going downhill, right? For the most part.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was gonna be no problem. But yeah, because I didn't know I was going to hike back that day because we had plans to go forward still. And then I decided to hike back like the 31 miles out to rescue my friends. And so it was 9 when I left. And so that's pretty late in the day. So like I had a terrible time. Like it was just like heat of the day when I was hiking through the desert.
Which, you know, is a lot of times, because you probably get asked this too, but like people are like, hey, like how many miles do you hike a day or whatever? You'll especially see, you know, going back to the Facebook group people, right? I'll come back to this in a second, but it was my first trail magic, and it was right outside of we still weren't up to Breck yet. It was like 2 days out of Breck. Oh, we were at Kenosha Pass above the trailhead there. And I was like telling this guy, I was like, yeah, like I'm trying to get to Breck in 2 days or a day and a half or something like that. And he's like, oh, he's like, good luck.
Oh my.
And I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna, you know, and but going back to like 9 a.m., a lot of people will ask me, they're like, well, how do you hike so many miles? And it's like, well, I get up early because you can hike. It's a lot easier to hike in the cooler weather from like 5 to 6 or whatever. And then by the time 9 comes around, now it's like actually like, yeah, like you're saying, it's getting kind of hot. You slow down quite quite a bit. But
yeah, no, exactly. And then if you don't want to do that, then you just know you're gonna have to night hike, which it's not very fun for most people. It's easier to just start early in the morning, I think.
that's right, that's right. You're a night hiker.
I'm gonna hike because I can't get up in the morning. So I'm like
That's
not
right.
very the best with a lot of advice because I just do things a little bit weird, I guess. But yeah, I just would rather hike at night.
That's cool though.
Yeah. I don't know how smart it is. I don't know. It's because like if you hike in the morning, you know the light's coming. If you hike at night, you know it's just gonna get darker. So
You
I don't
did
know.
see that mountain lion.
Did see that mountain lion. That was scary too. Yeah. Did you see any? But I mean, dusk and dawn. Like I mean, that's a good time to see a lot of wildlife. Do you have any bad wildlife encounters?
No, not. Oh, actually, I saw a bear. Literally my first hour out of Waterton Canyon, dude. It was right past the dam right there, and I'm just like,
dang.
Toot, toot, toot. And I'm like, dang, what is that crossing the river right there onto the road right in front of me? I'm like, it kind of looks like a moose because I only saw the front half.
Yeah.
It gets up on the bank, and I'm like, oh, okay, shit. So I'm like, hey, bear, and I'm like yelling or whatever, and it kind of like looks at me, real string beanie thing, and then it goes up the canyon and it like does some class 5 rock climbing up the thing and out of sight. But that was the only thing. Other people saw moose on the trail. I never saw anything. So, but coyotes, heard coyotes and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah.
It seemed like you hiked with a lot of people. Did you have like a trail family?
No, actually, I was mostly solo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was mostly solo. In fact, I had like 4 days where I barely saw anybody. I don't think I saw anybody going my way. And then I saw like 3 people going the opposite way. It was super weird. And then I was actually through that cow section around in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess you had a similar experience to CT as I did, because I also felt like I didn't see many people. But did you just see a bunch of people in town? Did you see anybody? Am I just like, I'm making this up that you're with other hikers at some point?
Well, like I said, the first 100 miles to Breck, tons of people. I mean, tons and tons of people. After that, definitely thins out by like a substantial amount, don't you think?
I would, yeah, I totally agreed. Like, I didn't see anybody past not many people past the first few days. I felt like I didn't see many people.
Yep. Nope. So I didn't have I didn't have a trail. I would only hike. I hiked with someone like for like 1 day, and then our things would be different, or we're getting off, or blah blah blah, and that's just kind of how it shook out, unfortunately. But I do like hiking with people. I guess that's right. So I guess I didn't have like a trail family, but I kept meeting different people like different days type of thing, especially kind of a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
Which was kind of going on. So like planning this year's kind of adventure, the Wind River High Route.
Oh, you're doing it, man.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes, dude. I think you'd really like
I want to do it so bad. Yeah, it's awesome.
It looks sick. So, and I'm going to go with a couple buddies that I know from around here up in Washington. So I think that'll be a good time. And it's a lot easier to film other people. So
yeah.
But
I think you did a good job filming yourself. So, I mean, I think it's hard also just to go back to you not hiking people, because people are worried about not meeting people and starting the trail. I think also you're going a little bit quicker too. And when you go fast, I think it's hard to meet people.
100%. Yeah. Especially like, and if I had a flexible itinerary, I could be like, oh, I'll get off with you for the half a day or the day or whatever. And I was really tempted to do that a lot of times, but I just was like, dude, I'm kind of behind now because of what was going on with my legs and stuff. So, but yeah, you're totally right.
Did you have an issue with your legs, or just hurting from hiking?
Just that rash.
Oh, the rash. That's right. That's right.
Just that freaking rash, man. I got to send you a picture of it. It was so gnarly. Like, I thought I was going to have scars. Like, somehow they like tanned through, but it was so bad. When I watch the videos back, I'm just like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that would be tough to sleep too. I mean, you need sleep. Yeah.
Oh, it sucked, dude. And
it was pop like a bunch of antihistamines and fall asleep.
Dude, I was just trying to do the hydrocortisone, and then I picked up some CBD and Salida, and that helped a lot.
Was it oil that you put on the actual like salve kind of stuff, or you just like were doing?
No, it was just like the dropper in your mouth.
Okay. Oh yeah, some like tincture stuff.
It was freaking awesome, dude. It's from Oray or something, but it was great. But yeah, I mean, after that, that was kind of when the steroid cream, the actual like souped up version, was kicking in. So that was great.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
nice.
the other thing was, and I don't know, um, this really helped me, was when I was in Lake City, I stayed at a hotel there, and the owner actually gave me some some lotion actually for my legs because they were still itching. And I
Yeah.
think it was because it was a combination of the dryness from the CT, but also like the steroid cream. And dude, that worked wonders as well. So I don't know, like that might be a hack for me coming up into like maybe some other higher elevation hikes,
Oh
just to
yeah.
bring a little bit of that or something, just in case.
No, that's for sure. Like, especially if you're not used to the dryness out here, it's pretty damn dry.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing with the CT that I didn't realize. Remember, I texted you or
Yeah.
Instagrammed you, and I was like, bro, I was like, what, like, because the first 100 miles, I'm like, oh, like this is kind of like just trees and desert.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, it gets better. Don't worry.
Did you think it got better?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. No, you were totally right.
Yeah, it does. Like, I think especially when you get up to like Breck, like that's when it's like, okay, it's like just getting to Breck, and then it's like, all right, smooth. And then actually, I mean, if you do collegiate east, then you get back to that stuff again. Did you do east or west?
Yeah, I did east because of the time, but you did east too, didn't you?
I did east as well.
Yeah, I thought the east was similar to the first 100 as well.
It was just super steep, and I just remember it being like incredibly hot. I just was like, I hated it. I hated that.
Dude, I did too. Dude, literally in one of my videos, that last climb up to where the east meets the west, I'm literally like, I'm swearing, and I'm like, every climb on the CT east is just up and then down and then up and then down, and I'm like, what are we in the freaking East Coast over here? What, dude?
I questioned my ability as a hiker, and I was just like, I suck at hiking. I don't know what to do. I'm terrible. I don't know what to do. Like,
yeah, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, it's hard like when it's that type of terrain, but then it's also like kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you're not really inspired by what was going on around you. I like the open spaces, you know, once you get above tree line and stuff, and there just wasn't like any of that. So yeah.
But then when you get the southern part, like past that, it's really pretty.
Yeah, the San Juans are dope.
Was there anything that you felt like that, because I saw you did run into a lot of thunderstorms, it seemed like. What did you do to deal with that?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do now, because I think I kind of screwed it up a little bit, because I got caught in the biggest one about 2 days before finishing. And basically, like, I got up to the top of this crest, and like it had been thunderstorming like every single day. It pretty much, it's monsoon season, so every single day it will thunderstorm. And basically I would get either under a tree with my raincoat, and I had my Tyvek sheet, so I would put that like over me or over my bag. That was kind of cool. But that was like when it wasn't like too bad or anything. And then other times I would just keep walking, it'd be fine. But that second to last day, dude, this thing descended on me like hellfire. This thing came on me. It was sleet, all this. I was above tree line. I was running as fast as I could to tree line. And I finally get to tree line, and I just pop underneath this tree, and I got my raincoat on. It's the Frog Togs, and I got my Tyvek underneath or over me. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm thinking this thing's going to pass, and it's just thunder, lightning, rain. The rain starts saturating the tree, and the water's just all on me, and then so I start shivering. I'm so cold, and I'm like, well, dude, what do I do right now? Like, do I just keep walking to get, keep myself warm, or what do I do? So I'm sitting, and my raincoat's soaking through. Everything's wet, dude. And I'm just like, dude, I got to keep going, because like I am so cold right now. Just chattering. And so I start going, and I'm going downhill, and I'm like, shoot, this isn't helping, And so like I stop underneath another tree, can't feel my hands, whatever. I start going uphill, and the storm passes finally. It was probably 2 hours, dude. And you talk to anybody that was from there, from that region, they were like, dude, the storms this year the duration has just been insane, pretty much. Just hours. So anyway, I go up the mountain, getting a little bit warmer. I try to with my hands, I'm trying to button up my shirt. I can't button my shirt up, man. My hands don't work. So if anybody thinks they're going to start a fire in that situation, good freaking luck.
Yeah.
Just not going to work. So I fiddled with that forever. Finally, towards the end, I camped right underneath Black Hawk Pass there, and tried to get dry, whatever. So I was fine in the morning, but what I would do differently for me is I probably would have just set up my tent. I mean, you have to, like, so that's what I would have done differently. I just didn't know I was going to stay there that long and I was going to get that soaked. So how did you guys mitigate it?
I mean, I don't think we had any terribly long storms and we were able to just hike. Well, there was one time, but I did end up setting up my tent just because I was like, we're in it for the long haul here. And so that's that one time I set up my tent for sure. I can't remember if I've done it any other time.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think we just like hiked through and then I definitely remember. I know we've had some very cold moments and I've had to do some pretty low stuff from storms, like sleep in like a pull out restroom, like one of those like pit toilet restrooms. I've slept in one of those before because of the rain.
Classic, dude.
Yeah.
Classic.
So I mean, like, it's definitely that's wise advice to, like, if you just, as soon as you start feeling like you're getting soaked, just set up your tent and get your stuff dried out and like get yourself warm. Because it's hard to, once you're cold, it's hard to warm yourself back up.
Incredibly hard. Yeah. And it's always kind of that game of, because you've been there too, I bet, where it's like it starts raining, you put your raincoat on, stops raining. So you're like, God, am I an idiot? Like, so then you take it off and you walk a little bit, it starts raining again. You're like, well, I'm not going to put it on now. And then you get soaked or, something like that. And with the tent, you're a little more fully committed. But dude, if it looks like it's going to stay for a long time, and obviously, I guess the only way you'd really get experience with that is just being in the mountains. But like, set up the tent. That's what I would do.
It is like really dangerous too. And I think I've done stuff that's really stupid. So I like being a hiking guide. Like I give advice differently than sometimes like I don't follow my advice really.
So true. Yeah.
Which is really dumb because you can just even taking my like first responders course, I know like how dangerous it is. Hypothermia comes on pretty quick and it's, like I said, it's very hard to warm yourself back up and not realistic a lot of times in the backcountry to fully warm yourself back up.
Yeah. And it's, it only gets down to the 50s maybe, but that's cold when you're soaked to the bone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it drops like 20 degrees, just boom.
And then actually getting something underneath you is really important too. So if you're going to sit down and you don't want to set your tent, maybe take out like a pad or something that you sit on, because you lose so much heat just sitting down on the ground. So getting something underneath you is like really crucial.
The conduction, right?
Conduction, man. Yeah, I always forget if it's conduction or convection. Conduction is right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good one too. Yeah, so anybody that's hiking that thing, expect it. Which, and they said for the high route, the Wind River, they're like, it's a monsoon season typical of the Colorado. So I was telling my buddies, I was like, all right, we're gonna get up early and we're gonna get over these passes and then we're gonna chill, like, or whatever. Because like this stuff, this is serious stuff, man. Especially when you're at, especially in the San Juans, when you're such a high elevation for dude, like, and then another time I had a thunderstorm at like 12 a.m. in the San Juans, dude. And this is over by like that rocky road or whatever the heck, where the sheep herders are, blah, blah, blah. There's like this big deal about the sheep herders and it's like Rock Road. It's basically when you get out of Lake City, it's basically it's basically the CT High Point around in there. That area.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a half day.
Yes, I know exactly. Okay.
Maybe a half day past that. And dude, that was my toughest day for sure. It was just up and down, all these high passes. And I just camped in this freaking middle of nothing. Like, like there's nothing around, dude. There's no cover. And I was just like, whatever, I'm fine. 12 a.m. just boom, boom. And I'm like,
oh man,
terrified, dude. Anyway, I ended up talking to someone coming from Durango that was like in the middle of that thing, and she was just freaked out. So it's a real thing.
Well, you've been doing some pretty intense mountaineering stuff, it looks like. Have you been taking any other courses, or how did you prepare yourself for this sort of like mountaineering, backcountry skiing stuff that you're doing?
That's a good question. Well, we took a crevasse rescue class.
Oh, nice.
In September. So that's pretty complicated. So you have to like actually like you go up there and you do it, and then you got to like actually practice it at home. And I probably have forgotten most of it by now, but I think I could probably rig it back up maybe.
I got to do that here in a few months. So I actually like,
Really?
what do you do? Yeah. So what do you?
Yeah. So I hope nobody like the mountaineering community is really listening to this, because I'll probably butcher this.
Okay.
But there's like a Z pulley and a C pulley, and it's just like the ratio to like bodies to the person that's in the crevasse. And so like we learned the Z pulley, so it's 2-to-1, or it's 2 people to 1, but it's actually I think a 3-to-1 like mechanical advantage or something. And so basically you just have a shit ton of carabiners and you're hooking them, and and you gotta put in your anchor and all this type of stuff, and then you basically just haul the person up. But yeah, it's pretty intense. Like you don't want to fall into a crevasse.
No, that's scary.
Yeah. So we did that, and then I've just been getting more experience with just doing winter climbs, honestly, just like being in crampons and having an ice axe, and doing that type of stuff and being comfortable on those slopes, those higher angle slopes. But then the same guy that did the crevasse rescue, we actually are going to pay for him to guide us on this traverse in northern Washington for like 4 to 5 days, where you summit some peaks, and some of it's like rock climbing over glaciers and stuff like that. So it's gonna be pretty like dope. And then he can actually like teach us rope stuff,
Oh, dang. Yeah.
Dude, like that's where I'm kind of more trending to. I just think that's
like it.
Dude, it's so sick. Like watching this guy work, like and then we actually didn't have a crevasse we were in. We were in an old avalanche debris field in September, right? And it was overhanging this lake. So like the person that was in the crevasse was over the whatever. But to get off of this thing, he literally like dug a like picture like an alien head. He throws a rope in the alien head, hitches himself to it, and then he repels us one by one off of this snowfield into the like down to the rocks by the lake. And I'm just like, that's crazy stuff, man. So like that's where I want to get to. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's insane. Sorry, I put myself on mute too. I didn't mean to distract you. My dog Rex is having a nightmare. So can you hear that right now?
I could hear him a little bit. Yeah. No, I love the old Rex dog.
He's having a nightmare right now. So I'm gonna mute and yell at him really quick and wake him up, and I'll get back to the interview.
He's probably like he's probably like the mountaineers that are going to be listening to this. Be like, shut up, dude. Oh, I think you're still on mute. There you go.
Yeah. There we go. All righty.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
So and in this I'll get on to things. Did you just hear him?
Is he giving a little whine?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For this Wind River high route, are you gonna have to use any sort of rope stuff, or like
so
preparing for that?
That's a really good question. So no. So it's mostly like the most technical spots are like 3rd and 4th class, but I think there's real minimal 4th class, but mostly 3rd, where you're just doing, the bouldering and stuff like that, really. But the point, I guess, of a high route is to stay as high as you can without it getting technical.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So like Andrew Skirka created the Wind River high route with Buzz Burrell, I think. And they created it. Yeah. So like you're basically going from valley to peak, which is kind of how it has to be, valley to peak, but you're staying still relatively high. And so you're going over different passes and things like that. And so, yeah, so it just links up like different peaks and ridges and stuff to have like the most, I guess, effective route through like the heart of the Wind River range. So looks sick, dude.
Nice. That's kind of stuff I like. And for people that don't know, like the class 4 can get pretty hairy. Like if you're like afraid of heights, class 4 can be like, it's pretty close to like some people's limits, or it surpasses a lot of people's limits too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, some people might choose to rope up for that stuff, I guess,
Yeah.
too, you know? Yeah. But like, that's the thing is I don't really know that rope work yet. So I don't really have an option.
Yeah. I don't know it either.
Yeah.
Or did you take any avalanche stuff, or how do you deal with avalanches?
That's a good question too. So I actually got this book by Bruce Temper called Staying Alive in Avalanche Terrain, and I've read it twice. And it is so good, dude. I would say that like it's equivalent to your Avi 1, at least in terms of like the knowledge and stuff. Like obviously, like I think I haven't done like where they showed me how to do like a snow pit or anything like that. I haven't been with anybody that does that. But like as far as knowledge and like facts and like what you need to watch out for, like great freaking book. And I feel, well, they always say in the book, like you feel very confident until some kind of accident happens, and then your confidence just dives. So, but like for the most part, I've really paid attention to like the Avi reports. I think that's super, like I really am kind of nerding out on those things. And like, I understand what they're saying now. Whereas last year I was just like, oh, it's green or it's yellow. Sweet. Let's go. So, yeah.
Do you have like a probe and a beacon that you use?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We bought those. Yeah, those are expensive, but necessary. Yeah.
They are. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, that's the stuff I sell at my shop. And it's even crazy. Like stuff like shovels. You don't think about how there's so much technical aspects of just a shovel.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Exactly. Like how you want to like pedal the snow rather than like dig it.
Yeah.
So you want to like pedal it off of them or whatever. And like the probe in and of itself is kind of weird. Like you're trying to strike the person.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never actually used. I've set it up, and I've never actually used it in the snow. That's got to be interesting.
Yeah. So it's
Does it feel really flimsy? Like, I mean, I can't imagine like hard snow. Like, how do you get enough force to push through?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I haven't used it on snow either. I've only put it together in the house too. So, no, I totally feel you. It feels like it shouldn't like work. You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things. But
yeah, it's like essentially for people to know, it's like a super long, like I said, I think they say 270 feet is like the minimum you want. And it's like a long tent pole that just continuously expands and connects for 270 feet.
Why don't 270 feet?
Is that no? Is it 270 yards?
It might be 270 inches or centimeters. Dude, 270 feet. That'd be a long fucking.
No, I think is it 270 inches. Oh fuck, am I just an idiot here? 270 feet. That is a lot of feet, dude. And I said maybe yards too. I'm like, I go to like miles. It's 270 miles. This is never ending. It's like Mary Poppins bag, dude. Jesus. Oh, I don't know, man.
Miles.
Yeah, this guy. I actually don't know. 270 inches. That just seems like, because I guess I don't know enough. I don't know how many inches I am.
Well, you gotta think like how deep are they going to be buried?
That makes it
270 inches or 200,
that makes a lot more.
270 feet.
That's a lot of feet, you know, and that's that's a very long pole. Yeah, there would be no way to carry that too, and like that's a lot. That'd be incredibly heavy too.
I love it, man. That's so funny.
That would be. I couldn't even set that up in my store. I'm setting this up. That's a lot, you know. It helps to know your feet from inches if you're going to be out there in that sort of terrain.
Yeah, that's for sure, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, but dude, do you ski or anything or snowboard or anything?
I'm a big snowboarder, and I just do resort, and then I just got some telly skis, like some telly setup. I've yet to get skinned, so I haven't done any backcountry stuff, and then I've gotten to Nordic skiing this year.
Yeah.
But
it's fun. It's fun,
man.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have a split board? Are you rocking a split board?
Yeah, I have the split, and god dang it. It's a hell of a lot to get into it.
Yeah.
But I have had so much fun this year on it. It's totally been worth it. Yeah. I've hands down recommend it. And I think it's a good way to like break up your hiking and your running and all that impact. And you're just skinning up. And then, you're hiking. It's like, picture this. You're like hiking, you get to the summit of something, which is sick. But instead of walking down, you get to put your shit together and then snowboard down.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
In like a quarter of the time. It's so sick. Yeah, it's great.
Do you have any areas where you're going downhill just a little bit on the split board when you're like it's split up, like when you're walking?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. But not usually. But one thing we did get into last week or 2 weeks ago, we went up to Mount Bailey, summited that, came down on our split, but then we had to take apart the split because it was like basically we were in the trees and it was not much, but we didn't put our skins back on. So we were in skis
Oh
basically.
dang.
That
Yeah.
was a nightmare because we both can't ski. So we're like, you're trying to like frickin' it's hard. It's hard.
What were you falling a lot or like?
Oh yeah.
Do they release your there's no
No,
release
you have bindings. Your snowboard bindings are your skis or into your skis.
Does it lift up like a tele ski when you're in that walk
binding
mode?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're like essentially in these like tele skis that aren't actually tele skis.
Because the tele skis have the little thing where you push down on them and then they grip, right? Or something.
Tele skis are just like a heelless ski. So it's just like your ski in walk mode. I don't know why I keep saying it's just like your backcountry ski, but just in walk mode. But in ski mode, it's also in walk mode.
Right. But you can like go down like a slope without it like.
Yeah, it's a different technique. It's like you're using like you're bending your knees more. I don't know. I don't want to be talking about teleski. I don't know enough about it, but it's different technique.
All the mountaineers and tele skiers are gonna be on this podcast. Shut up. And the avalanche guys, 270 feet.
This guy's a moron. My boss and Bayer, they're on the head. They're on the board of like Missoula Avalanche too. So I hope they don't.
Oh. Please send that clip to them. Oh my gosh.
And I'm selling probes too, so
this is a good one, dude. 270 yards, man. Yeah, this will get you out of anything.
I'll have to tell people that at work tomorrow.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so the only thing with so the hard part about if you don't have the skins on is like you're going down. And again, it's like you're skiing. So if you suck at skiing, it's quite difficult. But then when you're going back up, you don't have any grip. So you're kind of like doing this weird, like little waddle weird thing. And sometimes you just chuck them things off and then just have to carry them up this like little tiny ass bump that you can't get over, so.
Damn. Yeah, I was disappointed. I thought I was going to pick up skiing a lot quicker than I did. And like the first time I went out, we just like, my buddy was like heading backcountry skis and we were going to do some stuff that I had no Avy. This is my first time on skis ever. And he's just like, there's no worry about Avies and the stuff, but we'll go where people backcountry ski. I couldn't even climb up the first hill. I couldn't even get up the first hill. We just turned around. We pulled up to go parking. I start climbing the first hill and I kept sliding down everything. And I had to go home. So
were you going straight up?
Or we're going straight up. Like it was just too steep. And I had Rex. Also, I was going to do skijoring with him too. And so he was hooked up to me. And so he's pulling me. I'm falling down. I can't take the leash off him because he's just pulling me. It was just an absolute nightmare. And so like, I just was hoping that I'd be like, oh yeah, I snowboard, so I can pick up skiing pretty easily. And it's not been the case. Every time I go out like Nordic, I'll go down. I have some fat Nordic skis. They're like 100 centimeters. And that actually it's 100 centimeters when it's, oh my God, dude. It's 100 millimeters wide. And so I'm messing that up too. Jesus Christ. Those are fat skis, bro. If you have 100 centimeter fat skis, you're on a fucking snowboard. Like you're literally probably more than that. 100 because I think actually now that I'm thinking about it, they're in centimeters. It's 270 centimeters. That's what whatever is in
the probe.
Yeah. So fucking me, I'm riding 200 centimeter wide skis. Oh my God, dude. Anyways, 200 millimeter, 100 millimeter. I'm just gonna fucking stop talking at this point. I thought skiing was gonna be easier than it was. That's what I thought.
That was the point.
And that's the whole point of it. And it wasn't.
Anybody that's listening to this and is deciding between snowboarding and skiing and they want to get into backcountry stuff, pick up the skis. Do the skis. Yeah. Because a split board is so inefficient compared to skis, in my opinion, because you got to put it together and do this and that. And then you get the issue when you're on those like small dips at the end or whatever. It's still possible split boarding and it's still a good time. Like I don't want to learn how to ski at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and so, but it's still a great time split boarding. But like, if you are getting into it, choose a ski, I would do that.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing too. I mean, because I'm on that part where I'm like, I don't know, man. That's why I picked up the tele ski setup, because it was just like found a cheap one. I was like, maybe I'll learn a tele ski.
Interesting.
I don't know.
You know,
It sounds like a disaster now.
how old are you?
I'm 27.
So you're like my age.
How old are you?
Well, I'm 30. I just turned 30.
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit younger, I'm a bit of a young buck.
So I feel like when we were younger, I feel like snowboarding was the shit.
Oh yeah, dude. It was awesome. I was a big skateboarder too. So I was just like, yeah, I'm naturally a snowboard then. 1090 Avalanche, you had like SSX Tricky.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I feel like snowboarding was more, so like that was the thing to get into. So I learned in high school, and that was the Midwest. Like nobody skied in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get out west, a lot of skiers, a lot of good skiers too. A lot of them are usually the mountain guides. They, so they know what's up.
Where you live, is it very anti-snowboard?
I don't know about, I don't really hang at the resorts because I'm too freaking ass cheap. There's a lot of snowboarders at the resorts, but it's like at that point you're just riding a lift up. So like, what's the point of having to be efficient in the backcountry? You don't need to be, at that point. It's probably, but whenever I go backcountry stuff, it's like me and my other buddy that are snowboarders, and everybody else is a freaking skier. So they're like trying to pull us, and all this kind of stuff.
Oh damn, yeah,
dude. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's like, it's embarrassing, man.
Yeah,
you
man.
got this 270 centimeter inch wide snowboard.
Yeah, for me, it's a fucking nightmare. People can't even ski next to me. It's like, and I can't even imagine going through trees. Yeah. I can't do trees with that thing. That's so fast.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I know. Yeah. Imagine that.
But it's easy to balance when you're at that point. You're just like riding down your own mini avalanche. Easy to balance.
Yep. Now, one thing I do hear about skis is their knee problems. It's easier to screw up your knee. So
yeah. No, I've heard that too, and that's why it worries me about this, the Nordic stuff, just because there's no release on the skis, and even the tele ski, I don't think there's any release on it. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get really majorly hurt Nordic skiing, you're kind of like, what are you
doing?
Bit
of a puss. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, bro? Yeah.
No, yeah, my Nordic skis are like not typical though. They're like these mini backcountry ones because they have the skins actually like on them. The skin's like 3/4 of it, which means it's not terribly good at gliding, but it's good at climbing.
Yeah, that's so cool though. Those are really cool. That's
I just did to do on dog. It's like nothing that's sick or intense, but like, it's something to get out there with your dog. It's hard to go backcountry stuff with your. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would be too nervous if I would be snowboarding with Rex.
Right, and I mean, they're more efficient than snowshoes too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because you still got the surface area where you're spreading that around, and like, you could stay above the snow, but then you get to glide occasionally. It's just more fun for me anyway.
Yeah, Rex agrees. If Rex you heard
agrees, that, he gets it.
He agrees. He loves it. Wait, so do you think that like oh man, what was I gonna ask you? I had a question lined up and now I just forgot it. Damn, it's too bad. It's too bad when that happens. I'm still caught up on my fucking my mistakes here. I'm just like making an absolute.
Hey, bro, don't get too don't get too down on yourself. You're just getting back into the podcast game again.
I'm just getting back to the podcast game. Yeah,
knock off the rust,
dude. You've been like killing it though. Like that's what I wanted to talk about. Like you've been going on. Now, are you focusing more on like TikTok, Instagram, or are you still focused on heavily on YouTube?
Good question. Mostly all of them. I do like a YouTube video a week, and then I'm just really repurposing my short form TikToks into YouTube Shorts and then Instagram Reels. So I just kind of have like a content calendar, and I'm trying to post like every day on Instagram and TikTok, at least 5 days a week. And then, with YouTube, just once a week. I would say my passion lies in the YouTube videos. I really enjoy making and creating the longer form content. I think that is my passion. However, it's hard to get good reach on YouTube right now. At least I haven't figured it out totally yet. So I'm waiting for one to like really crack off.
I mean, I've heard it happens. I mean, I feel like if anything, it's going to happen soon for you. I feel like it's always that one video, and then people are just like, oh yeah, hell yeah, here we go.
Well, I used to work with this company, and they uploaded a YouTube short, which is basically a TikTok, right? And they got like a million views on this thing, and they got like 100,000 subscribers off of that.
Man.
Yeah, so imagine that on YouTube, like 100,000 subscribers, how long that takes for an average person to get. That's crazy, dude. And they just got it off of one YouTube short, and they like don't even really do long form content. It's pretty nuts.
That's actually insane. That's a lot of people.
It is, because I just saw them. They got like their silver play button.
Oh, very cool.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, damn, dude, good for them. But I'm trying to get on that.
Yeah. Well, how many I mean, you don't have to answer, but how many subscribers do you have? I don't know why that's a personal. For me, that sounded like a personal question. How many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
How many people like you on YouTube? I have 1,490.
Nice.
So it constantly has been going up, and I've seen it trending up more too. Again, because the store or the YouTube Shorts get good reach, and then I've also noticed a pattern when you upload educational YouTube videos, they get a lot of reach as well. Because it's the second most searched search engine in the world next to Google when you go on YouTube something, which makes sense. I don't really enjoy making that type of content. Like I said, I like the telling the story, the movie kind of thing.
Sure.
But I'll do it every now and then to get the subs and help out people. So
yeah. So you like to be like, when you're out there doing the activity, just showing it and allowing for people to live through you.
Yeah. It's just fun to like look back on it.
Because you're probably going to make it anyways, regardless. Like, you'd probably make it for yourself anyways.
No, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I mean, I don't have that many YouTube subscribers right now, but I still enjoy making. And I mean, that's where I spend the most time, is shooting the video. It's a pain in the ass when you do it, editing the video takes a long time, and it's not like you get like that much of a return out of it, but I do it. Yeah. It's like one of those things where I would do it like for free, but I would like to get paid if anybody's listening.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's a lot of time. Like, that's what I feel about even just doing a podcast. It's like, I mean, minimally for podcast editing is very minimal. I'm sure you can get like more technical with it, but like compared to a YouTube video, regardless, it's less. It's just an audio file.
Right.
But it's still something. Like, it takes some time to get it down and like to upload it and whatever.
Yeah. And the one thing too that's like useful is like, because when I asked you, I was like, hey, can I get a copy of this video, because I'll post it on my YouTube? But is like how Gary, I don't know if you ever follow Gary V, but he always talks about like making micro content out of your longest form content. So like for you, like making reels of 120 yard freaking avalanche probes, putting that on an Instagram reel or whatever, and and then also plugging your podcast or whatever. But so you don't have to keep recreating stuff, coming up with ideas all the time. You can actually like spread it out over other areas.
That's really smart. That's something that I'm terrible at. That, like, and I just need to do it. Oh yeah, I feel like you're good at it though. I mean, because you've got like a ton of reach on Instagram. Well, I would say a ton of reach. I don't know. Everyone can always say, I'm sure you think somebody else is like a ton more reach. But I feel like you have a ton of reach on Instagram, and I don't even know how many people you reach on TikTok.
Yeah. No, it's been good. I got in at the right time on TikTok for sure, and then Instagram has just been playing up reels. So like I said, I've just been cross promoting my TikToks onto my reels. So it's like, but I also like on both of them, I always, and I think this is where some creators, what they don't do, but I always make, like, every morning when I wake up, I do my morning routine or whatever, but then I always spend like 30 minutes responding to like everybody, DMs, comments, everything. And I think that's a good, it might not be good like short term, like spending time, maybe, I don't know, but like long term, I think it's something that works out well for creators, because you're giving a lot, you're giving a lot to, I mean, that's a lot of time, dude. I mean, it's like every morning, and this, it's a lot of stuff to go through. but you try to be as helpful as you can, you know,
Mhm.
and establish that relationship. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how common it is, but that's something Gary Vee always talked about too.
Well, I think it's important because like you're just a human too, and like to
Yeah.
humanize yourself. I
Yeah.
think it's tough. And I think it's like that's a good way to do it. And so
Yeah.
people feel good about themselves when someone else reaches out to them and like, oh
Yeah.
man, you're reaching out
Yeah.
to me. Wow.
Yeah. And it's like a simple thing to do. It's just a simple thing to do. And I think you can get caught up to where you're like, dude, I just don't have time to do it, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, I put it as a priority because I think it's a good, like, yeah, like you said, it makes people feel good.
It seems like you've been doing a lot of like crossover content with like Harris Hiker and
Oh yeah.
have you been doing anything else with other people?
Yeah.
Is it Harris Hiker? Am I wrong?
Harris Hikers, yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So dude, holy shit, man. So here's one thing too. Make sure you're changing your passwords and things like that. So her account got hacked. Her Instagram. She had like 36K
Oh my God.
followers. Yeah. And it got hacked. And then the guy was like demanding payment to get it back. And she tried hitting up Instagram. She had her followers hit up Instagram from TikTok. Instagram was just getting hit with all this stuff. Weeks went by, and she never got it back, dude. So she was like, to me, she's like, hey, like, make sure you're doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I was freaked out. So I'm changing all my shit like right away, you know. Of course, I have like the same goddamn password for everything with another exclamation point on it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm changing all this stuff. But yeah, so she's like rebuilding her Insta right now. Kind of crazy. But yeah, so I've collabed with her. She reached out. And who else? I think that's kind of like maybe the only like formal one besides the gal that picked me up and Buena Vista. She's very big as well. What the heck's her? Hiking Honey on TikTok. She's really good.
Okay.
And then I met the thru hikers on TikTok and Instagram. I don't know if Tim and Renee.
Thru hikers.
They're huge.
Oh, the CDT people, the couple going on the CDT. Oh yeah, they are. I've seen them on TikTok a few times.
Yeah. So get this. Do you know IB Tat?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So the same freaking day I get out of Breck, I have a late start and I'm going up and see IB. I run into IB Tat, talk with him for like 20 minutes, get a selfie, you know, get up to the top of the pass. Or no, I'm getting towards the top of the pass, see Tim and Renee. So talk with them, snap some pictures over, then just get clobbered by another storm because I was like so late to the top of the pass.
Dang.
Yeah, and had to stay in Copper Mountain. I was like, screw it.
Oh, dude, that's awesome though. I mean, that's a cool thing.
That was cool.
Do you feel like has there been anybody that had recognized you like in the real world?
I honestly just a couple times, and one was kind of recent at a climbing gym. And then
really?
But then dude, I really look like an idiot because I'm at this climbing gym and then she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, blah, blah. This is cool. We were like talking a little bit. And then of course, like we're kind of climbing next to each other. We're on like a top rope. Oh my God, dude, I tried to send a way too hard of a route, like way too hard for me right now. And dude, I'm sitting up there in this rope and people are trying to like get up around me too, like on these other routes, but I'm kind of like swinging into them. Dude, it was a nightmare. I was up there for like 25 minutes. I finally completed after I'm just gassed. And like I come down and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. And she does it in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, dang.
I probably just lost a follower. I look so stupid, dude. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, it's not really that common, but yeah, I was thinking maybe like on the Colorado Trail, maybe, but
yeah,
only Tim and Renee knew me actually, which is kind of ironic.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
Because we followed each other and stuff. So
that's cool as a community. Do you talk? Because I like Hiker Royalty. I mean, I like their memes. I don't even. At first, I thought Hiker Royalty was a girl. I didn't even know.
Oh, is it a guy?
It's a guy, right?
I have no idea.
Okay, I didn't know it either. I thought it was a guy.
Well, there's two meme accounts, right? It's like Hiker Royalty and then someone else. There's another one too. That's a good one, I think.
Hiker Royalty and then there's
an
Hood Rat Hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her. I think I've talked with her a little bit, but I haven't Hiker Royalty. But they've reposted maybe. They
Yeah.
got good stuff though.
Yeah.
They're super funny.
It's crazy. It seems like, I don't know like how it is, but it seems like there's like a little community with the hiking influencers are like not like, it's like
Right.
a more like low key kind of chill
Yeah,
influencer
totally.
thing.
It totally is. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems
I
like
think
there's a good community, I guess, but do you guys communicate at all or?
a little bit. I do a little bit more on on TikTok with some other people, but um because yeah, there's some like yeah, I guess TikTok's more of the place where I do that on, and that's kind of even rare too. But like the ones that I had that like Hiking Honey, Harris Hikers and stuff, like we'll bounce ideas off of each other and stuff. It's really cool to like talk with other people in the space and like see what they're experiencing and stuff. Because like you can't really like Google anything like
Yeah.
how to be a you know, or like
Yeah.
you have no idea what you're doing. I mean, no idea. So like it's really helpful to do that. Byland Emery, yeah, what's his name? Emery Wagner. He does the Byland podcast, which is a really good podcast. I
Oh,
communicate
nice.
with him a little bit. He actually is working with Darwin now at the
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So but yeah, it's good to have that group. But like, you know, like Juliana Chauncey, like or like those
Yeah.
guys, like I've never really talked with them.
Do you have to go here soon?
No.
Okay.
No, I was wondering where my phone was though. Anyway.
Do you worry about getting that big? Like, do you worry or do you have any concern about getting bigger like that?
No, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the goal, I think, for me. I think like yeah, I don't know what the downside of that would be.
Well, I guess I'd be concerned. So this is, I guess I didn't really phrase it right too. Because like, do you worry that like at that point you're such a brand that you worry about your own actions and then you feel like you can't be authentic when you're out on trail or out wherever doing just recreating? Feel like you always have to be on?
Good question, dude. That is a good question. Yeah, I think that would be a concern. I think Darwin has talked about that a little bit in some of his podcasts, which is super interesting. And I know he's gotten burned by like some companies and things like that. And so I think for me, like if someone doesn't like me or like what I'm doing, then I don't really want them as a follower in the first place because like they're not probably going to engage in my stuff anyways type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like so that's where because I used to be really concerned about that. And like, I was like, oh, like I need to only post this type of content for this type of person because it's such a huge audience. And like, I can't really say this. Like I'd always like do something about like trail runners versus boots or whatever, you know, and I'm always like a trail runner fan. And people would just light me up for not wanting to wear boots. And it would like make me feel bad. Like I was like,
yeah,
am I like a bad person? But then I'm just like I never take the time out of my day to like go and like throw shade at somebody online. Like you got to be like really like kind of like maybe in a messed up place and stuff. And so, yeah, if you don't like me or you don't want to follow me, like that's fine. Like it's really cool. Like when I post something, like I'll post like a book quote or something that like resonates with me, and then I'll get like a ton of people like giving me the 100 or smiley face or what book is this, blah blah. And I'm like, dude, these are my people, man. Like,
yeah.
Because that's like the type of person that I want to hang out with. Because I've really like the last like year, dude, like really distanced myself from just people that I don't, and it's so cliche to say, but it's like people I don't want to like be like, or like just, I don't want to like talk about other people. I want to talk about like my future and like being successful and blah, blah, blah. And like, you realize like this good energy that comes when you hang with those types of people versus this other type of person. And like, I want people that like build my energy type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think like, it's interesting. Like you are from the Midwest. I'm also from the Midwest. We're both from the Midwest. And it's like hard to do.
Where from again?
I'm from Michigan, East Lansing area, Okemos.
Well, see, this is why it makes sense that we're both snowboarders.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It's my theory. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, so like we're like, I feel like I'm getting into some of this outdoor recreation stuff a little bit later. But I think that's what makes you like approachable. Is like you are learning with everybody else. And it's amazing to me like how much like you've really gotten after it. like how you've like just taken on like split boarding and like mountaineering and stuff, I think is like pretty cool. Because it's like intimidating when you just think these people have been doing it their whole life. You're like, well, there's no way I can do this then. Everyone's doing their whole life. And then you see somebody else who's like also from the Midwest and just like, okay, maybe I do have hope, you know, maybe I can do this something.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And like a lot of these outdoor sports, you can like pick up fairly. It's not like a sport you have to be doing like your entire life, like freaking basketball or something like that. I'm never going to be good at basketball, but like, you really can, you don't have to be that athletic to do like some of this stuff, man. Like,
Yeah. Just have to have the determination. I mean, how did you go about getting into like split boarding and stuff? Did you just first you're like, I gotta meet people, or like what did you do? What are the steps you did?
So it's one of those things of like you meet the people that are better than you, right? So I had a buddy and that I had met him only this year or last year, and the first thing we did was we climbed Middle Sister together in Oregon. First day we meet. He's on a split board. I didn't have a split board at that time. And I'm just in my shoes, whatever. We summit, have a great time. And I'm like, that's pretty bitchin'. I want to get one of those. You know what I mean? So I'm like hitting him up on all this stuff. And it was just really because like I had a buddy that had a split board, right? But it was also because like, dude, I need to have a winter sport because I can't just sit around and do something. I need to like stay in condition. And it just seemed like a great parallel to have a low impact, but also have a ton of fun and do summits and stuff like that. But so through him, like I meet these other people now. So like Mount Hood last weekend when I went and climbed that, I just posted in the Facebook group, which I knew I was probably going to get some shade. I was like, who's climbing Mount Hood? There's a person that's like, everybody and their mother this weekend, blah, blah. But this guy like hits me up and come to find out he's a rock climber, he's like a traditional rock climber and all this, and he skis, of course, but whatever, we climb it together, blah, blah, blah. But like, that's like somebody I'm going to go rock climbing with now. Like I'm going to hit him up and I want to like learn from him. So it's like, I think for me, it's like all about finding people that are better than you in all these different categories. Yeah. And then like hanging out with them for like a couple days and like, dude, you learned so much. Like just from Brent, the splitboard guy, like, dude, I don't know how much time I've wasted putting my splitboard on the ground and trying to fit it together to put the bindings back on and do everything like that, rather than what you got to do is just hold it like up in the air and then slide it in together. And dude, it's like 100 times faster. And he showed me this. I was like, oh my God, it's just one of those things with a mentor,
Yeah. Well, I think like it takes a few things. Like it takes getting over the social anxiety of like, asking somebody or like someone's going to judge you because you don't know. And then it takes also like humbling yourself to not be good at something.
Yes.
And those two things are like really hard to get over. I mean, so what do you tell somebody who's struggling with that?
Well, first do jujitsu because you'll get your ass kicked for months and months and months and months and months. No, I'm just kidding. But that is one way. The social anxiety, that's a tough one. I guess you got to ask yourself, like, why are you so concerned about what they're going to think about you type of thing? And then what was the other one?
Like how do you humble yourself to not be like, because like we're all good at something.
Yeah, for sure.
And then at a certain age, it's just like, I don't want to relearn something and be bad at something.
And look, I think like to progress in life, you need to learn different things. And I think like once you stop learning, like you die type of thing. And you're right though. I mean, a lot of people that's a comfortable thing, not having to learn something, and just continuing with whatever it is that you've been doing for years and years and years. I think like, I don't know. That's a tough question. It's a certain mentality for sure. It's a get better mentality. Do you want to get better or do you want to stay where you're at type of thing? And for me, it's just like, I want to enjoy life, and to enjoy life, you got to learn how to do new things type of thing. And I want to be like, as you always hear this, but like, I want to be like as best as I can. And that's just one of the ways that I can do it, is like learning these different skills. But all these things, they all kind of parallel each other, right? The mountaineering and rock climbing kind of parallel each other. And then split board, like split boarding, running, trail running, hiking, through hiking, like you're bringing all these elements in. And so like, you're like a hybrid, like freaking mountain athlete at some point, you just like, you have all these skills to draw from, because like from through hiking, you and I know like what foods to eat. We know like how many miles we can do, like what's realistic on the trail, how long, like dead reckoning, like how long it can take us to get to a certain place. And you can take that in different areas now into mountaineering. So when you're walking now with crampons, okay, we got a little more weight, but like maybe I'll use the same food. This is how much water I should bring, right? And so it's super interesting like that. That's yeah.
No, that is true. Like how much things cross over and things that you wouldn't even think crossed over.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even think like, okay, I did a through hike, maybe now I can do an ultra, but now it's like, well, I probably can do an ultra now.
100%.
Yeah. So I think that is pretty cool. It's really tough. I mean, I struggle with that too. It's like, I don't know. I want to get into climbing and it's like, oh man, well, those guys are so good and like, they're going to judge me and I'm not very good. And I don't know. It's tough, but you just got to do it.
It is. You just have to do it. It's just like when you take your first step on your through hike. Like, yeah, it's just like you always hear this. It's like, you have to just take the first step, which is always the freaking hardest. But like, you always meet whenever you like, so say you want to go climbing, right? Like, yeah, you go there by yourself. You don't know anybody. You always like end up meeting someone that's like, yeah, at your level or like a little bit better than you or way better than you, but like you become friends with them, you hang with that group, and then all of a sudden you're better at climbing. That's just the way it goes. Like every time that's happened to me with things like that. So yeah, it's dropping the ego for sure. I mean, and that, it happens to me too, for sure. Especially when you think you're good at something like snowboarding. Like my buddy Brent's like, I'm like, dude, like, so.
Yeah, I think that's where you got to draw from the hiker trash. Now, that's what I always get back to is like whenever I'm dealing with something like that, I draw back to through hiking. It's like, I don't care, man. Don't really care if you're laughing at me. I've made a fool of myself way worse.
Right.
You know,
right.
I've had my ball sack hanging on my pants. So I mean, like, I can't get lower than that.
Right. Well, and you can also like draw on like some of those accomplishments you have done. Like, dude, you've hiked the AT, dude, and the CT. Yeah. It's like, it's pretty badass. And so like whenever I think like someone's like making fun of me or whatever, or they, I'm always like, yeah, but I did this and that. Like I'm good in this area where they would not be as good as I am, and so that's something maybe to remind yourself of too.
Yeah, we all have something that we're good at.
Oh yeah.
Some other people suck at.
Right.
So I just have a few more questions because I'm sure you have to get going. I do appreciate you coming back on the podcast.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man.
So a few questions. First on the CT is like, what are some things that like, because I know some advice that you wish you would have gotten, or some advice for future CT hikers?
That's a good question. Well, you gave me great advice. I appreciate that. So listen to your podcast, that number 1. Advice for the CT. I would say that, the biggest hurdle for me was the thunderstorms, I think. So expect that, think about what your strategy is going to be for that, and don't get discouraged if it stops you for a couple hours of hiking or whatever. Definitely the cow section, I would say, bring some kind of secondary filter, some tabs or something, just in case there's nothing, no kind of trail magic in that section. I wish I would have known that. And then I would say if you have the time, go to hitch into some of those trail towns because they're super cool. Like I didn't really have that much time to do it, but like everybody knew what was going on and they knew you're a CT hiker and they, you're kind of like a mini celebrity. It's freaking dope, bro.
Yeah.
And then, the first 100 miles suck. So that's the other thing I would say. But yeah, it gets way better after that.
Yeah, and like for those that don't know, a secondary water filter you could do is like Aquamira, which is like $15 and it's like 30 gallons or something. And I'm being serious. It actually is like 30 gallons this time. So it filters about 30 gallons. So that one's true. You can trust me on that one.
I love it. Are those the tabs?
No, and the tabs are great too. Like you have the iodine tabs, but those I always have an issue with those because they dye my platypus or camelback, whatever. And then they have a little bit of an aftertaste. And there's usually only 15, 20 tabs in them or whatever. And you can also get chlorine tabs as well, but there's usually 20 tabs or something. Aquamira is a little, the one downside of Aquamira is you have two different things that you squirt into a small little cylinder container, and you got to wait 5 minutes for those to react, and then you pour it into your water, and then you wait 15 to 30 minutes. I always wait 30 just because I don't know, I get scared.
Okay, cool.
But that's the downside, you got to wait. But that's something that you can take as a backup filter to your Sawyer squeeze if you're
just something lightweight or something. Exactly.
And then so it sounds like you've got the Wind River High Route. Do you have anything else planned this summer? Is that's the big thing?
So yeah, I'm not doing a long through hike. I'm gonna do the Wind River High Route, which is 100 miles.
Yeah, but that's sick, and that is a through hike, and that's a badass one. I want to do that. It's on the radar for sure.
Yeah, dude, we'll have to do a podcast on that one. Get back. So I have that one, and then I'm I think my biggest thing though this year is the 100-mile ultra. So I have that planned for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, August 26th, I think. So got that, and so everything's kind of revolving around that training, but I think I'm just going to be doing a lot of the Cascade volcanoes, so Rainier, Baker, and do a lot of summits and peak bagging up in the North Cascades, and and a lot of trail running. I think that's what it's going to be this year.
Training for 100, what are you doing? What's your biggest mile day now? How do you do that?
Freaking good question, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Well, so I actually am doing that 4x4x48 Goggins.
I saw
Goggins
that.
challenge. Yeah. So that's around when I'm starting my training actually. So I think that's going to be good for the sleep deprivation aspect. But otherwise, I think in the plan that I have, it's a very rough plan, but it's a 50-mile race to do. I did that last year, and I don't know if I want to sign up for another one. So I'll probably just do the Timberline Trail, which is 43 miles around Mount Hood. And then just mix in some 50Ks and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to do the Wind River High Route about a month out. And I think that's really good. Yeah. I think it's such a good, 100 miles for the week, with a bag up and down at elevation. That's, to me, you're on your feet all day. That to me sounds like a 100-mile race. Minus the sleep deprivation. So I think I need to work something in with another sleep deprivation somewhere around there. And then, I think I'll be good. But it's how the hell do you train for 100? I have no idea.
I just figure you just got to fucking send it. You just send it, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do some sort of training. I don't think you could not go into it without any sort of training.
Couch 100.
Yeah. At some point, you do just have to send it, I feel like.
Yeah. So, dude, it's going to be an experience. I'm super pumped for it. It's going to be freaking hard.
What 100 is it?
It's called the Cascade Lakes 100. And the cool thing is that it's kind of in Central Oregon around the Bend, Oregon area.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is kind of where my ex's family lives.
Oh,
so
dang.
I know when I have to dig deep, I'm just gonna be oh.
Yeah.
God.
There you go.
Got to fight those demons a little bit. So
do you think it's gonna pump you up, or it's gonna
oh yeah.
Okay, good.
No, yeah. I actually have a wall. Well, I have a wall of names that I actually put in my weight room that I look at sometimes when I'm struggling.
Yeah.
It's my wall of hate, I call.
Nice. Yeah, dude, you got to have those thoughts to push you through. Totally get it.
Yeah. So that's the
so what was the Goggins challenge? It's Goggins, right?
Goggins, yeah.
Yeah. It was. It's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Correct. And 48, and then it totals 48 miles. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Miles every 40. Yeah. Yep. So it starts on a 8 p.m. on Friday.
Oh, people are doing together.
Yeah, that's the really cool thing, man. Is he had a post and he was like, "Hey, doing this, blah blah blah. I'm gonna be running from somewhere in California to somewhere else," and he, some of these celebrities are doing it with them, seeing if they can hang or whatever. And yeah, so it's a specific start time, 8 p.m. Pacific, and then just every 4 hours after that. So 12,
dang.
4, 8. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like if you want to get into it, dude, it'd be actually pretty bitching. Like I don't know how I'm gonna record it or whatever I'm gonna do because it's gonna be hard. It's like one of those things where it's so hard. Like,
yeah,
do I try to record myself because that's gonna make it even harder?
Well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go like camping somewhere? Or are you just like gonna go back home and then rest or whatever? Okay.
And that's the thing, dude, right? Like, you gotta think about it. Like, at first I was like, oh, you're gonna get 4 hours of sleep, but you don't get 4 hours of sleep because you're gonna be running for 20, 30 minutes. Then you get home, then you gotta try to wind down or eat or whatever, and then you try to go to sleep. Then you gotta wake up again and do it. And so every time, I always wake up at least once because I'm 30 and have to pee in the middle of the night. And, it's always like 4 a.m. or something. I'm like, dude, imagine having to run right now.
Oh man. Yeah, that'd be miserable. I don't know. I'd be worried I'd oversleep at one of those like
really
points. Yeah, I guess I'd be so worried I wouldn't sleep. I think that would be the thing. I would be like, oh shit, I don't want to oversleep, so I won't sleep.
Some people just say to stay up for most of the time. Yeah, it's like the easier thing to do.
That'd be gnarly. Wait, so what day is it? Do you know? Or I guess you probably don't know off the top of your head. Is it like the spring?
It is March, I think 5th.
Oh, March 5th.
It's March 4. March 4 is when it starts, Friday night.
Oh,
and
dang.
then to the 6th, and then dude, I have a buddy that I randomly commented on a mountaineering thing, and I've talked with him for like 2 years now over Instagram. I've never met him in real life. He lives in Reno now, and I was telling him about it. He's like, oh man, I can't do it, blah blah blah, I gotta be working, blah blah blah, I have like these things, whatever. Dude, he's gonna be doing it and like working. Like he's gonna have to, I don't know, he was telling me how he had this whole thing figured out. I mean, this thing is a hell of a charade, but he's gonna pull it off. I'm like, dude, you are a stud, man. Like he's got to drive back and forth here and there and work there and do this and do that. And I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna be a leech all weekend on the couch. So
yeah. I kind of want to do it, man. I might do it. I don't know. I have to take off work. My sister's trying to come out to visit me, so I hope it's not the weekend she's trying to come out.
Let's go, dude. It'd be so cool to do like a podcast in the middle of it when we're like just dead. But that might be bad for the brand for me. I might say something stupid.
Yeah, I feel you. I say something stupid every episode, so it's all right for me. Sweet, man. Well, I'm pumped for that. Do you so before we go, because I got to get going here too, Rex is staring me down. Do you have anything you'd like to share, and how can people also get a hold of you, follow you?
Yes.
Appreciate
it, dude. Yeah, I would say anything that I'd want to share, dude. We covered up a lot of good stuff. First of all, I love talking with you. You're great, dude. You're a great dude.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. You are too.
I'm glad that you're getting back into the podcast, and let me know. I will be on anyone at any time. Yeah, I would just say to leave it with people is find that group of people you want to be like, become friends with them. And in even 1 year, you're going to be dramatically different. I'll tell you that. But for me, Chattahoochee, Instagram, TikTok, and Chad Lubinsky on YouTube. And that's it for me. Boom.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks for coming on. And I'm going to end the recording right now. Just going to say something.